Gary was sitting outside the cave watching the sunset when Rex walked up with a map. Rex pointed at a small dot in the middle of a desert. He asked Gary how a place with almost no water, no farmland, and barely any oil left had become one of the richest cities on the planet. Gary looked at the dot for a long time. Then he said that was actually one of the most interesting questions Rex had ever asked him. Chapter 1. What Dubai actually was. 60 years ago, Dubai was a small fishing and pearl diving settlement on the edge of a desert. No skyscrapers. No airports. No shopping malls larger than entire neighborhoods. A few thousand people living in simple buildings along a creek, trading pearls and dried fish with passing merchants. The pearl diving industry had collapsed in the 1930s when Japan invented cultured pearls and flooded the market. The economy that had sustained the region for centuries disappeared almost overnight. Rex thought about this. A place with almost nothing, in the middle of a desert, with a collapsed economy. Gary said that was exactly where the story started getting interesting. Chapter 2. Oil was not the answer. But it was the beginning. In 1966, oil was discovered in Dubai. Rex assumed this was the entire explanation. Gary said not quite. Dubai did find oil. But compared to its neighbors, the amount was small. Abu Dhabi, just an hour away, had vastly larger reserves. Saudi Arabia had even more. Dubai's oil was always going to run out. And the ruler of Dubai at the time understood this clearly. His name was Sheikh Rashid. Rex would not need to remember the name but needed to understand the decision. Sheikh Rashid looked at the oil money and asked a question most oil-rich leaders never asked. He asked what happens when the oil is gone. And then he spent the oil money answering that question before it became a problem. Rex recognized this pattern. Gary said it was rare. Genuinely rare. Chapter 3. Building the infrastructure before it was needed. Sheikh Rashid used oil revenues to build infrastructure that did not yet have enough demand to justify itself. He deepened the creek so larger cargo ships could enter. He built a port. Then he built one of the largest man-made ports in the world. People told him it was too big. That there was not enough trade to fill it. He said build it and the trade will come. Then he built an airport. Then he expanded it. Then he kept expanding it before it was full. Same logic. Build ahead of demand. Create the capacity first and let the activity follow. Rex thought about this. Most governments build things after they are needed. Roads after traffic jams. Airports after the lines get too long. Dubai built things before they were needed. Which meant when businesses were looking for a place to set up in the region, Dubai was ready and its neighbors were not. Gary said this single insight, infrastructure before demand, explained more about Dubai's growth than almost anything else. Chapter 4. The location nobody was using. Rex asked what else Dubai had going for it besides oil money and ambitious building. Gary pointed at the map. Dubai sits at a geographic crossroads between Europe, Asia, and Africa. Before Dubai developed, there was no major hub connecting these three regions efficiently. Cargo moving from Europe to Asia had to go around, or stop somewhere inconvenient. People flying between continents had limited options for connections. Dubai looked at its location and decided to become the middle point that the world was missing. Emirates Airline was founded in 1985 with 2 aircraft and a government loan of $10 million. Rex thought that sounded small. Gary said it was. And what followed was not small at all. Emirates grew into one of the largest long-haul airlines in the world by connecting destinations nobody else was connecting directly. If you wanted to fly from a city in Africa to a city in Southeast Asia, Emirates could probably get you there with one stop in Dubai. This made Dubai Airport central to global movement in a way that had nothing to do with oil. Rex thought about the pipeline analogy from the oil and gas video. Dubai made itself a pipeline for people and cargo. Gary said that was exactly right. Chapter 5. The tax decision. Rex asked what made businesses actually want to move to Dubai rather than just pass through it. Gary said this was the chapter most people knew about but few understood the full implications of. Dubai offers zero personal income tax. Zero corporate tax for most businesses. And in many free zones, full foreign ownership of companies with the ability to repatriate all profits. Rex sat up straight. Zero personal income tax was a significant thing. Gary explained that most major business centers in the world taxed income, profits, and corporate earnings heavily. A financial professional earning a large salary in London or New York paid a large percentage to the government. The same professional in Dubai paid none. Over the course of a career, the difference was enormous. Dubai understood that if it could attract high-earning professionals and profitable businesses, those people and companies would spend money, employ others, build buildings, and create an economy even without contributing directly through taxes. The government earned its revenue through other means. Real estate fees, tourism, trade, licensing, and a VAT introduced later that remained low. Rex asked if this was sustainable. Gary said it had been for several decades and the model continued to evolve. Chapter 6. Making it safe and predictable. Rex asked why companies trusted Dubai enough to actually move there. Gary said this was the part that often got overlooked. Businesses do not just want low taxes. They want predictability. They want to know the rules will not change overnight. They want contracts that get enforced. They want to be able to move money in and out without restrictions. Dubai built legal frameworks, international arbitration centers, and free zones with their own regulatory systems designed specifically to give international businesses the certainty they needed. Many neighboring countries had taxes and rules that changed frequently with little notice. Dubai's reputation for consistency and reliability became itself a competitive advantage. Rex thought about businesses like scared dinosaurs looking for stable ground during uncertain times. Dubai built the most stable-looking rock in the region and told everyone the rules would not change. Chapter 7. Tourism and the Spectacle Strategy. Rex had seen pictures of Dubai. The buildings that looked impossible. The indoor ski slope in the desert. The island shaped like a palm tree built entirely from sand and rock in the ocean. He asked Gary if these were serious economic decisions or just showing off. Gary said the honest answer was both. And the showing off was itself a serious economic decision. Dubai understood that attention was an asset. Every time a new record-breaking building was announced or a new impossible project was completed, media coverage around the world showed images of Dubai. People who had never considered visiting started considering it. Businesses that had never considered Dubai as a location started paying attention. The Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world at the time of completion, cost billions to build. But the global attention it generated, the number of people who came to see it, the businesses that took Dubai more seriously because of it, produced returns that were difficult to fully measure but clearly significant. Rex thought about this. Spending money on spectacle as a form of marketing for an entire city. Gary said Dubai essentially treated itself as a product to be marketed to the entire world. And the marketing budget was impressive. Chapter 8. Real Estate and the Global Wealthy. Rex asked how Dubai made money from all the people and businesses it attracted. Gary said one of the most important mechanisms was real estate. Dubai allowed foreigners to own property in designated areas starting in the early 2000s. Wealthy individuals from around the world, particularly from countries with political instability, currency risk, or high taxation, began buying properties in Dubai as a stable store of value. Russian oligarchs. Indian business families. African entrepreneurs. European retirees. All of them bought apartments, villas, and commercial properties. This created a massive real estate market that generated enormous wealth for the developers, the government through fees, and the broader economy through construction jobs and related spending. Rex thought about this. Dubai did not just attract visitors and businesses. It attracted the savings and wealth of the global upper class looking for a safe and growing place to park their money. Gary said this was a form of wealth attraction that few cities in the world had managed as successfully as Dubai. Chapter 9. What Dubai still has to figure out. Rex asked Gary if there was anything Dubai had not solved yet. Gary said yes. Several things. The city relies heavily on a migrant labor force that has limited rights and often works in difficult conditions. This is a serious and ongoing concern that international organizations have raised repeatedly. The real estate market has experienced boom and bust cycles. Prices that rose dramatically have also fallen significantly at times. The diversification away from oil has been successful, but the economy remains sensitive to global trends in tourism, finance, and trade. Climate change poses long-term questions for a desert city built around outdoor attractions and a coastline. And the zero-tax model, while attractive now, faces questions about long-term sustainability as global tax policy evolves internationally. Rex sat quietly. Gary said this was the honest version of the story. Dubai had done something genuinely remarkable. A fishing settlement with small oil reserves had built a global city in less than a generation. But remarkable did not mean without challenges. And the next chapter of Dubai's story had not been written yet. Chapter 10. The answer. Rex looked at the map. Again. He asked Gary to summarize what actually made Dubai rich. Gary held up one hand and counted. A leader who asked what happens after the oil instead of just spending the oil. Infrastructure built before demand arrived to justify it. A geographic location turned into a global hub by building the airline and airport to match. Tax policy designed to attract the highest-earning people and most profitable companies on the planet. Legal consistency and predictability that made businesses trust the rules would not change. Spectacle and marketing that turned an entire city into a globally recognized brand. Foreign property ownership that attracted the savings of the global wealthy. Rex looked at the list. He thought about all the other stories they had discussed. Haiti had resources and got isolated. Cuba had a revolution and got cut off. Venezuela had oil and did not ask what came next. Dubai had almost nothing. And asked every question that needed to be asked before the problem arrived. Gary picked up his banana. Rex folded the map. The dot in the desert did not look small anymore.